Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to continue with the insanity that we have unfolding so far today, right? We've seen a Turkey clutch coming through from the side of Serbia, meaning 3 back-to-back victories. How? Yes, that's how they just did it, right? But
They
of
just
course,
do.
uh, we are gonna move into our final Erangel for today. We are keeping our fingers crossed that any other country would like to potentially maybe oppose Serbia in taking control of the chickens. I think Montenegro has a really good chance in doing exactly that. But it's all going to come down to whether or not they are going to be looking to have that be the thing, right? Or if Serbia would allow them to do that. But as you were pointing out, the zones that we've been having in the previous few games were all quite interesting, right? We had that super southern shift, we had that aggressive change over on towards the western side. So maybe if the zone goes to where it should go, according to you, maybe then another team will have an opportunity to try and play the game of PUBG.
I mean, that's what I want for all the teams, to be able to play the game of PUBG. So far, it's been like an alternate version, I feel like. So many of these teams just been unable to really do much of anything, and I really am looking, not to be that person, but looking towards France, right? Because I think France in particular really got the short end of the stick there. Germany went out very early as well with 0 points, but Germany had a Georgia pole landing spot, so they were in zone. They lost for other reasons. France, on the other hand, also Croatia, those kinds of teams, they did not have anything to do with zone. They tried their best. They were surviving like 20 odd minutes. They really were in there, and then they just get wiped in the end. Still 0 points on the board. So I feel like that has something to do with those zone shifts coming through as well. Romania as well, being another one of those teams who did very well, got a bunch of points, but it's just the zones are just not being with them today. And especially if we get over into Miramar, when those zones continue to not go your way, sometimes it just lasts all day and there's nothing you can do about it.
But I think one thing that would be quite advantageous here is if there's an opportunity to get a few potential eliminations out in the blue, right? Leave them and get to zone, right?
Yes, please.
Because I think that's something that we've seen quite a bit here is teams getting caught out in the blue and they get so focused on there's a fight, there's someone there, I have to stay. You don't. You have to make it to the end game. Get to zone, wait there, and see. Right? Just wait and catch them when they rotate up. Right? Pick them up as they move on through, because giving your HP away for free is not helping you. Right? It's hurting. So hopefully the zone will be a little bit kinder to our squads here as well, and we'll be getting into that pretty soon. But yeah, let's hope that somebody can step it up. Like I said, I have a pretty strong suspicion that Montenegro could definitely look to do something. They got 10 eliminations in game 2, 10 eliminations in game 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are looking pretty positive on their end as well. And they've actually been able to consistently get themselves up into that second place. Belarus also, even though Ramzik wasn't doing all too much in this past match, right? Just sitting there waiting with the M249 and then ended up not using the ammo.
Yeah.
They've also actually been playing a pretty decent game, right? Up until that point where they didn't have much of an option, right? Not many choices really to make or to choose from. So I want to see if they can maybe develop that even more, take it that one step further and become the next Serbia, right?
Yes. Yeah. There's a couple of teams that, off the back of that last game, could really do some cool things here. Spain, Belarus. I mean, like you said, Belarus hot on the trail here. Czech Republic as well, though. I think once Serbia had decided that they were going to win the match, probably Czech couldn't do that much because Serbia had the better timing, etc. But for Czech Republic, they played that to a T. Very, very well played and well executed by them in those final few phases, especially against Belarus there. So I think that in this game they could really do some cool stuff if they're allowed that opportunity. We'll have to see, but for now, they are looking like they have some really good options on their hands.
I mean, there's a lot of good strategies coming through, but when you're going up against two menaces in the lobby,
Yeah.
it does change the way that those strategies play out. So hopefully they can be a little bit of that pressure can be alleviated this time around, right? And we can
Yeah.
see a lot more of these strategies now really coming into fruition and coming into play. I say that, and then we see Czech Republic and Belarus
Oh.
getting ready for a thing, right? Both of
Right.
them dropping into the vicinity of Ferry Pier, making very quick, brief contact. The zone, allotting a lot more land to the teams this time around. So I think a few should be a lot more comfortable and satisfied with where the zone has gone. And of course, Heaven is going to be essentially smack dab center zone this time around. Almost.
Yeah, I mean, almost. It's just a little too hard shifty to be comfortable for a lot of the teams we have here, including those on the very edge, right? You got Georgia, you got France, Serbia to a certain extent, although Serbia have a better position coming into zone. Yeah, but you know what? We're gonna take it. We're not gonna complain because certainly the last two games have shown us it can be a lot worse. What is interesting is that no one is in Yasnaya. People should kind of know that unless Moldova are going to be making their way into that area. Maybe Latvia could move into that region. We'll see how that goes, just looking at options here. Czech and Belarus, though, have gone their separate ways. Belarus have a 2-2 split. Czech are moving probably into Primor, so that's okay. I thought for a moment that Belarus were looking for a revenge play over onto Czech, and I was like, please, not now. This is not the time.
Yeah. Maybe they were just giving a quick fake. It's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then right, just enough so that Czech actually moves to Primorsk as we see them doing over there. But yeah, I think the rest of the way it's a good spread, right? We don't see any hot drops, nobody looking to get unnecessarily aggressive. Hungary is moving in. I'm not quite sure where they're going to be looking to rotate towards. Maybe just the potential few compounds, or they might look to join Moldova all the way up in towards Yasnaya, Poliana. But aside from that, it's just a big old chill opportunity that we have here, right? Spain, Germany, also having a little bit of a good time up in towards Georgia Pool. I mean, Croatia also is having a pretty decent start here. Completely uncontested. They have the entirety of that melee base and the island to themselves to use it as they please. So I want to see how that rotation is going to come through from them. They might potentially maybe opt for that eastern bridge, or if Marin is feeling a little bit emboldened, they might even go towards the east, but I do think the western side rather. But I think the east would probably be their best decision here.
I mean, I think neither of the bridges are really a good option for them. It's just too busy. I think really a botation would be the best option forward here. They can go all the way up to that eastern side, but leaving that, going to Lithuania and Hungary. Hang on, it's just Cyrex left for Hungary. Really hard work coming in here, and Lithuania just clearing up shop. Weapon in hand, Cyrex, he can't do anything but leave at this point. The nades might not be thrown here. No, they will be thrown indeed. Ooh, big nade over the top there, but Cyrex is long gone. Having to just leave his teammates behind here. What a heartbreaking position to be in so early in the game as well. Azerbaijan, one of the teams that could really look to do some cool stuff here, down to just 2 over by Gaka. They have been bombarded by Montenegro, and like we said, Montenegro, second place right now, looking very, very good, looking like they want to be a little bit of a bully to these teams as well. And so for Azerbaijan, yeah, Rago. Oh, I thought he had that a second, but not quite. Azerbaijan still have one up. Lazar next up on the chopping block. Can he get him before he reses his teammate or finishes Rago? No, but Hardman on the prowl, waiting for that. I mean, at this point, it's just we're really gonna just do Ring-Around a Rosie at this point, going on the merry-go-round, trying to get these things nade in hand. Gonna get caught with the nade in hand. Montenegro gonna go out It's the nade in hand curse. You don't recover from it. Never ever. And Hardman is going to win that 3-piece over onto Montenegro.
I mean, that's a good start here for Azerbaijan. As they get those 3 eliminations up, they do alleviate a little bit of that that lobby pressure, right? Montenegro not going to be able to go on that same kind of rampage as we saw in the previous 2 matches. So I like the adjustment that the teams are making, right? Trying to kind of balance the scales here. As you can see already, quite a few teams locking points in France, sitting with 2. But let's see if they'll be able to secure even more than that as rotations now start to come on in. They are going to start to converge into a very similar path as we see Spain taking here. You still got to watch out for Lithuania just a little bit further up ahead over towards school. But I think for France, Pachinki is a good temporary holding position while we wait to see where that zone is going to be going. Czech, on the other hand, still have quite a bit of ground to cover to get themselves all the way up into zone. But fortunately, it's only zone number 1, so it's not going to be too much of a concern right now.
No, it's not. They've got time, and they will know that Belarus is there, so they're going to just wait for Belarus to do something to move on up ahead. Belarus actually might just clash with Serbia at this point, and if they're not careful, France will hear them. Or the other way around, might be a clash with France and Serbia will hear them, which I think is actually the worst of the 2 evils. Just because Serbia, we've seen them with 3 wins at their back now, clean up so many teams. Let's see. Maybe it's going to be fine. Maybe France hold off on this one. They've got a few points. They don't want to overextend. Belarus certainly don't want to fight right now. Everybody wants to get inside of zone. Another team that needs to move in is going to be Croatia. Time is ticking. I mean, at this point now, both of those bridges are wide open. They can just move in whenever they want. However, we've got that team like really spread out. No one looks like they're particularly interested in moving just yet.
Yeah, that's a strange strategy that they're adopting right here. But realistically, I think Serbia, they're not going to be all too phased right now, right? So if something was to happen and someone jumps on them and they don't make it for some reason, it's okay. Because their nearest contender was Montenegro, and Montenegro is not here, right? They're not in the lobby anymore. So the only team that realistically has a chance here to make up pretty good ground is going to be Belarus. So I'm going to be looking onto them to see just how far they're going to look to try and push this. And of course, then from 4th place all the way to 16th, it is open for the taking. Anybody can decide now, you know what, this is our game. Let's go in there. Let's get a few more points and let's push as hard as we can. And you could quite easily move all the way from that 16th position up into potentially even 4th place. But now Belarus, though, I said they have a good chance. But not if it goes like this. And, well, it does seem like things are looking pretty slim. They still have 2 players up. Ramzik, again, bringing in the survivability here. But Lithuania, they need to be careful because, as we know, they need a few additional points, right? They came into this match with 14. And if they want to make a run for 4th place, they only need 4 points, right? So far, it's looking pretty good because they've got 5. So they just need to survive. And the same, of course, can be said here for Belarus. Belarus now going to try and play for that long game, trying to survive as far and as long as they possibly can. Unfortunately for them, Lithuania, they've got a few buildings in the way.
I'm so confused by that play. Why on earth, when the zone is as open as it is, do you go, let's go crash apartments? Most notoriously hard to attack buildings in the map. You go, yeah, let's go into that one. I'm so confused by that, to be honest. They had such a great opportunity to win this game, to play this very correctly, very smartly, and I feel like those choices were not it. I mean, I see that, you know, it would have worked if they had gotten to apartments. Yeah, it's a good position, but there's a lot of other positions. School is completely open right there. Rosshawk, to a certain extent, also open. So I'm a little bit confused as to why Belarus did that play, but okay, whatever. Spain just down to 1 solo at this point. I think who got that? Latvia got that that duo, that one of the duo there. So now Moldova move in, and it's a 1v everybody. And it's a really rough time for Spain. Spain goes on down, getting picked apart bit by bit. And the heartbreaking thing about that, DK, is that Spain got there got taken out one by one, all on rotation. They were just trying to have a good game, and these other teams were like, no, you didn't. Nuh-uh. Mine now. Thank you very much. And that's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, but also for Spain, it's not the worst thing that could have happened, right? Because they had 18 points. So they were sitting in 4th place coming into this match, so it's okay. There's still a few more matches for them to try and do a little bit of a something. But now with that zone shifting even more in on favor, or in towards a very favorable spot there for Latvia, things could now definitely start to get quite interesting. And of course, Latvia getting a lot of support, as we can see coming through on the chat here as well. So let's see whether or not all that support is going to be able to empower them to play another amazing game like we've seen in those group stages. But yeah, it could definitely go either which way. Of course, the eastern side is going to hold a few surprises as well, right? We've got Georgia, we've got Germany, as well as, and of course, the players coming through from the side of Hungary. So the contention is definitely building up. Let's see if Hungary can maybe find a little bit of something. Sarex could have it, cooking up the nade. It bounces out, doesn't find a hisk, but the rest, there we go, is going to be in the bag. So Germany, they lose one. Hey, Hungary, they get their first point on the board for this match.
GG. That's all you need, 1 point at a time. Unfortunately, that does mean that Germany kind of knows where he is. Georgia as well, possibly, if Georgia were even paying attention, honestly. They look like they were a little bit too occupied with the rest of Germany on their front door. Croatia now making their presence known, coming on through, racing around the Walmart area, just trying to get into zone any way they can. Serbia as well, got to keep an eye on them. They're coming around down to the south side, trying to find an entrance somewhere behind Romania. But Romania seems to be kind of holding them off a little bit. Serbia's not quite sure where they want to go. Croatia running around still. Germany got an elimination on board. It's all happening down to the eastern side. The rest of the zone seems fairly normal. It's just this eastern side that's really taking a tumble.
Ooh. Well, so far, Kick managing to evade the initial spray down that we saw coming through there. Of course, it is going to be Keystone holding it nice and steady now for Azerbaijan. A lot of pressure riding on their shoulders. The team in total sitting on 4 points. As you can see, currently in second with regards to how much they've brought in here so far. Lithuania, I like what they're doing. 6 eliminations up, good spread across the board. Everybody contributing to those overall points. But now it is going to be a potential standoff, depending on how this next phase is going to be shifting on up as the blue zone continues to move on up. It is going to be Moldova now rushing in on Croatia. Oh, as they pull up into the Alamo. 1 down, 2 down. Croatia down to their solo. Again, it is going to be Bubby holding on for dear life as the push comes through. Quick response with the S12K, just meeting them up in the window. But you always got to watch out for Watch Me. That is going to be looking for every possible angle. Lost. And the rest of the team now trying to figure out how they are going to look to breach this position. Quick reaction there from Bubby yet again, just finding the headshots, making it look effortless. So 1 in, 2 in, 3 up they go. 1 more player to go. What an insane defensive strat this is, but unfortunately, Kick just gets the upper hand, and Moldova does not lose a single player, but a very impressive showing coming through from Croatia. Unfortunately, not converting any of that amazing gameplay into points.
Ugh, that's just the worst. He played that so well. He divided them up one by one, got all the shots he needed to, and just when he had to take some time for himself, yeah, it didn't go all that well. No, Moldova went, no, thank you. You're going home now. So that's what happened there. Croatia going out with 0 points, as you said. Azerbaijan quickly following, but they've got 4 on the board. Belarus now getting shot up as they try and make their way into zone. They have beat out Lithuania over there. Czech, a team I did not think were going to move out anytime soon. They were looking very strong as a team. go out now.
Ooh. So a lot of things happening across the board here. Belarus definitely going to try and play for a little bit of the longevity. Lithuania, I respect the hustle, right? They came into the match with 14 points. They've now found a bucket load of eliminations along the way, but are they going to continue with it, with that momentum moving forward? Belarus, Ramzik trying to do a little bit of a something here, but of course their teammate getting knocked down yet again. You got to watch out for Latvia far off in the distance, right? If that if the flag is pretty faint,
Whee!
that doesn't mean anything. They are still going to look to apply quite a bit of pressure here. Moldova, I like the fact that they're also starting to ramp things up. They came into this match with 8 points. They now already have 5. But now it is going to be Keep looking to light them up as the shots just connect on through. Fortunately, not getting the knocks, but does cause quite a few problems for them now.
I also want to see what's happening on the south side of zone, because Romania and Serbia, big teams, looking to kind of just really just keep each other out of the zone. I mean, Romania seems to be going back and forth across the south side, across the hill, trying to get rid of Serbia and fend them off, and Serbia's looking for that opening. Haven't found it yet. Hungary does go down, who is also at the south side. There's the replay there with Bubby. Continuing to do such great work. I mean, he carried his team in the last game. He almost carries them now. Really good player for Croatia. Not Croatia. Yeah, Croatia there. But he goes back to the lobby.
Yeah, some mad gun skills. I wish I was that good with a shotty.
For real, yeah.
Yeah. Please teach me your ways. I want to learn. But in the meanwhile, as you can see, Germany trying to play a little bit of a edge positioning here. Again, Tokyo being the solo. We did see on our first Erangel of the day that Tokyo was also the last remaining hopeful. Just playing it out in the water, trying to survive as long as they possibly could. So let's see if Tokyo could maybe change the outcome of this match. The grenade is going to come right up to their doorstep. Belarus, unfortunately, is not going to make it past this point, as they do get taken out in 10th place. The same going here for Germany, as they do end up in 9th. A very unfortunate play, but it is what it is at this point of the match. Now, still a few more teams to look to get the ball rolling. Serbia, they've not had any points just yet, right? But that doesn't mean anything at this point. But I like what the rest of the lobby is doing, right? Latvia, very mobilized, very active. The same can be said here for Moldova. As we can see, they've just been packing in those elims, sitting all the way up to 5 right now. Latvia, I'm curious as to what they're going to be doing here, because they've got a nice position towards that northern side.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to keep it. I wouldn't even take anybody into a split with this one. I think I just stay exactly where I am. Let everybody else fight over the open ground and just take pot shots where you can. Try and steal any eliminations. Because, yeah, I think France has to move over to the north side. They don't want to deal with Serbia right now. They don't want to deal with Romania. Lithuania's down there. Robs do not get knocked. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, wait, Serbia! And Romania going out. Serbia goes out! Completely!
Hey, yo!
No points on the board either, or 1 placement point on the board as well. So, Romania up to 10 eliminations. Looking at a top 7 position. Maybe even a top 5, we'll see. And that was them holding Serbia out, not giving them ground, but France is starting to look towards them now. They want control of this hillside. Are they going to get it?
I mean, this is a good play coming through from Romania. This is exactly the kind of pacing that we want to have for them. And so far, I think even it's the best match that we've had today for the side of Romania, right? 10 eliminations, the most that they've been able to secure in the play so far. But now it is up to that southern side, right? Poland trying to find an approach, trying to find a way to get themselves situated. Dooku is still on the outskirts of zone, trying to maybe pick up a little bit of an opportunity here or there. Now, we turn over to the side of Romania, focusing all the efforts into the side of France. I like this for the Romania, though. Really getting quite active, just knocking on the door. Getting ready to huff and puff, but will they blow the house down? We don't quite know.
We shall see. Robs does go down. Narvalo is also gone previously, so this is where Romania is really just going to be rolling on through, trying to get anything it can. Does get the one. He's got that P90 on board. That's what you want to see in SnowX. Woo! Narrowly missing that as well. But that's what you want to see. P90 on board of the solo. Whoa! Almost gets it. Not quite. Where is his teammate? Teammate? Tree? Okay, you know what? I'm not going to yell at Tree. I yelled at Tree yesterday and then he DM'd me, so I'm not going to yell at him today. But just a simple question. Why revive when teammate need help? That's all. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, unfortunate for France, but still getting quite a few points on board there. Romania is going to be really happy with that, of course. Coming in with now 13 eliminations. And what are we looking at? We're looking at a top 6 of... okay, few teams that are still quite full. I was thinking there was a few more solos than there are. No, these teams are at least 3 up.
Yeah, I think things are looking pretty good now for Lithuania. We already saw Romania absolutely cooking. I like this for Moldova as well, right? Now that the pressure has been alleviated, right? Now that Serbia has been taken out of the lobby, now that Montenegro is not here, the rest of the countries actually have an opportunity to play around and see what they can make happen. And so far, it is looking pretty good. I like Poland's position over on towards that that edge of zone, right? It is going to be somewhat of an uphill battle for them, especially looking at where Moldova is currently situated. But if they are persistent, they could very well find a good angle. It's all going to rely, though, quite heavily on what Romania does, right, for Poland. Are they going to contest the angle? Are they going to focus in on them? Or could we maybe see Romania focusing all their efforts right into the side there of Moldova?
Anything's possible with this zone. I mean, it's such a difficult zone to play. This hill is notorious for being just awful. There's not a whole lot of places to hide. You need your vehicles. There's so many angles. But Georgia, I will say, have done very well in the last 2 games to keep into the top 6, right? They've just held a position. They've been very quiet. Now they're using those smokes, trying to get any sort of leverage they can. That nade is excellent, though. Both of them are not doing as much damage as I thought they would. But at the same... Oh, God, that's got to do something. Oh, 3, 2... Come on.
How many utilities does Latvia have?
Oh!
Yes, they have all of them. As you can see, Chaos now getting ready to push on forward. Quick, a little bit of a dip down and duck and dodge as they do take out the side of Georgia. That is going to be a golden opportunity now for Latvia. And their fans are going to love it. But here we go, right down to the final 5. It is Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, and Poland. Looking to see who will be the one to take that winner chicken dinner. Romania has the highest probability, the highest percentage, based on what is currently happening here, to unlock that winner chicken dinner. But of course, it could still shift in any which way. Ooh, that nade, scarily accurate, as it does find Ibiza right there. So now it's the opportunity for Latvia to continue with a little bit of that bulldozing as they get the momentum and they start to push. You're still going to watch out for Lithuania here, but there is a quite a big chance now for Latvia to come in absolutely clutch.
I mean, which way is it going to go, though? Because Lithuania have a great angle, but they're not really in zone here. Romania have the high ground, definitely, but on this hillside, it almost doesn't matter just because the amount of angles you have here. Poland are struggling. They're low on health. They're down to 3. Outside of the zone, Latvia is really going to try and gatekeep them. Unless Lithuania have anything to say about it, actually. Chris might just distract Lithuania a little bit, but actually they're going to leave Chris behind and go straight over down to Poland. I mean, I think that's actually the right play to make here. They're playing for that long game. They're playing for that win. Chris is no longer part of that win, unfortunately. But, you know, what can you do when it's this kind of zone?
Good question. Of course, now with the zone shift, It has favored Romania quite a bit. You can see the percentage going all the way up to 25. 26 is where we're at right now. Latvia did have some pretty good odds in their favor, but unless they can get themselves a good position in the zone, things are going to remain quite challenging for them. Romania, though, capitalizing on 14 eliminations. Lithuania currently sitting on 11. Latvia on 7. Moldova coming through on 5. And Poland, they've got points on the board. Aside from the placement points, they do have that one elimination up, at least for the time being. So now, let's see if their duo can do anything at this point. Moldova going to try and lock down this plateau, as there are going to be so many teams just knocking at the door. Everybody looking for their opportunity and their way in. But now with the engagements that Romania are finding themselves in, the odds are starting to shift. Moldova actually looking to be the prominent team here, having a very high chance to have an amazing run.
They really, really are. 5 eliminations on the board so far. Really, the only compound in the game, still in the game rather, that zone, depending on where it goes, could smack dab on the middle of them. I mean, Lithuania is going to have to get rid of Latvia here, so Moldova has a chance to both hold down the fort, particularly against Romania, or to kind of third-party whatever's going on down the hillside. They probably are going to try and do a little bit of both here, but they really need to be careful of Romania. Now that they've cleared this side, now the whole south side is theirs. They really are going to probably target Moldova here. Lithuania and Latvia are busy. They're not going to be really looking at them, so... yeah, you can see Moldova kind of turn their attentions to that south side. That is exactly what they want to do here. Some nice nades coming over the top, though, as we look back over to Silence. And 11 eliminations on the side of Lithuania. That is exactly the kind of team we were looking to see today.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the probability, the numbers, the shift coming through here, and is starting to crumble now for Lithuania. But Latvia and Moldova looking to ramp it up as well. Both teams now just trying to keep themselves in contention, trying to get themselves patched up. Quick kick with a quick response there. Watson just jumping ahead of the sprays. As Keith pushes on through another attempt. It's going to be chaos out in the blue, and Watson stops them right then and there. That is Latvia out of here. But now, down to the final 3. Romania and Moldova have the highest probability to clutch this chicken, but they are getting ready to go head-to-head. So there is still a great opportunity now for Lithuania to ride the storm, to ride the wave, and come in with a bit of a third-party opportunity. But here we are. Romania cooking it up, setting it out, pudding. Could get a little bit more than dessert in this situation. We can see Kick and Lost just hanging around on the back end. Of course, we've now hit stage number 9. That means no more zone and nothing but blue. It is Moldova, though, with a very dominant position here. They do have smack dab center zone. And I'm expecting Kick and Lost to do everything they can to just cover pudding as long as possible, because it might result in a bit of a heel-off, right? We do see Lithuania also now starting to explore their options a little bit more so as they're creeping up onto the ridge. In about 2 minutes, this match is going to be over, because everybody you see here will have no more HP left. That is just how the blue do. So let's see whether or not Lithuania can reach all the way into Moldova. A good attempt, quite a bit of a reach and quite a bit of range on the utility here.
There is. I am surprised, actually, Romania did not opt for a full send into Moldova, particularly when Lithuania was very busy dodging cars left, right, and center. So it's kind of got this little bit of a standoff effect that you see now. But the nades are starting to come through. This is where Romania is trying to do something, but surely they know that Lithuania are over here. Yes, okay, so they do know the nades are coming through. Silence does go down. That P90 in Redox's hands being absolutely lethal. 5 eliminations coming through there. Make that 18 for Romania. 18!
Yep.
Is that the highest we've had so far? I feel like it is.
Yeah. Also, Romania had 18 points coming into this match. right? And now they've doubled that
Nice
just
nade.
on their eliminations alone. But it is going to be time for a full send as Pudding gets picked on up. It's up to Last, and Last now finds a quick hit into Exo. It's going to be overlaid, sending it on in, and that is it. Romania comes in clutch as they kick the edge of that match right into remission, and that is quite the play, but you got to give it up, right? Romania, Moldova, they played an absolutely phenomenal game. Lithuania also just stepping it up. 3 countries that needed so many points, just finding exactly what they needed. I mean, Latvia also coming out of nowhere, making it up into that top 4, and they did so while securing 7 eliminations for themselves. Wow. But 7 versus 18 at this point, right? The numbers went up. It went beyond that. And of course, well,
goodness.
An absolutely insane play was 21 eliminations for Romania.
How
Good
on
question.
earth do you get 21 eliminated? That's a third of the lobby. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
I am in shock. What is happening?
We can put it in a different perspective, right? To give you more of an idea as to how insane 21 is, right? Montenegro had 26 eliminations coming into this game, right? Romania made that up in 1 game, pretty much, right? So an absolutely ridiculous performance in the best possible way here. But look at these numbers. EXO coming through with 7, Bunny on 6, Redox on 5, and Overlaid hitting 3. And the damage that they've taken is not that high in comparison to the damage that they've been dealing.
I mean, I suppose, right, you got France, you've got Serbia, you've got also Moldova. So I suppose that's nearly 12 players, 12 eliminations right then and there, right? But what on earth is that? By 1 team is actually crazy. Really like how they played that. And I will say, though, DK, in general, this is the game that we thought we'd get in game number 1, where we had we had Romania, we had Lithuania, and we had Latvia all doing very well in this game.
Yeah, no, we 100% did. So let's just imagine that this is the other match one, right?
Yes.
The last one of the Erangels that we've had, and of course here are the points. 31 points going to the side of Romania to add to the 18 they had coming into this game. Lithuania, of course, walking away with 17, adding on to the 14 they had. I mean, they almost got 14 just in eliminations alone. So again, a very, very impressive performance from them right here. But I gotta love it, right? Latvia, they needed points. They had 4. They got 11. Absolutely amazing work being done on their end. And of course, Moldova also, right? They started with 8 points. Now they add 13 to that tally. And that is going to do some pretty good things for them with regards to those overall standings.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. The other thing I want to say as well, though, is it kind of is helpful to the rest of the teams that Romania took so many of those points away from the other teams, right? Because for the other teams on this list, it's bad enough that 3 teams got double digits other than them, right? But if you look at the rest of those leaderboards, I mean, France is in 5th place in terms of the match rankings with 4 points in this game. In any other game, they would be 11th, 12th, something like that. But they're not, because Romania took all of those points away from everybody else. So in some ways, it's very helpful that Romania got as many points as they did, because yes, everybody moves down, but that means that not so many of the points went to all of the teams. And some of these teams that are struggling a little bit have a little bit more time to catch up.
Yeah, some of the teams move down, some of the other teams move up as a result. And of course, here are 2 of the teams that are definitely going to be moving up: Romania and Lithuania. So 21 versus 12. The damage numbers also not too different.
Yeah,
right?
actually
3,000 versus pretty much almost 2,000. So yeah, a pretty good bit of positioning that we had here. But I mean, Romania, the numbers make sense. 17 assists, 16 knockouts. They were just so ridiculously active and so relentless in their efforts here that it paid off phenomenally for them.
It really, really did. Now as we head over to the overall standings, I mean, I think we all knew what was going to happen here. Romania just shooting ahead to second place. 49 points. Even after all that, they're still quite far away from Serbia. They've still got a little ways to go. The gap is closed significantly, it is true, and Romania do go ahead and beat Serbia in terms of elim points. But yeah, Serbia's still up on top, Romania in that second place. Montenegro moved down, but just by a little bit there. Lithuania moving up, as well as Moldova up into 7th place. Latvia, we're starting to see them on the first page now as well. So some good overall points here from everybody, but again, you are seeing a few of these teams actually just have normal games. If this was a 2-3 day final, Spain, Moldova, Georgia, Germany, all of those teams would not be worrying right now. But it's not. It's a one-day event. There are 2 games left. What on earth do you do now?
Yeah, I mean, for the top 4, it's great. We can see them with the green ticks next to their name. All of them moved up onto the second page. But this is only but a taste of what we are hoping to see come the next 2 games. Because this is the kind of gameplay that we have to have if we want anybody to knock on the door of Serbia, right? Because as we've said before, those first 3 matches that Serbia played, doing all the work that they did, they weren't too phased coming into this game number 4, right? Yeah. Irrespective of how this match went for them, they are still sitting quite comfortably. So now it's going to come down to how much work these teams are going to be looking to do once we step into our final map, which is going to be Miramar. Yes, we still have 2 left, but we're not going to be changing maps at all. So the pressure is going to be on. Is Serbia going to play another thing? Or will we see this continuous rise now coming through? Will we have Romania, Moldova, Lithuania, and Latvia, and even Poland bringing a little bit of magic into the desert? Of course, there's only going to be one way for us to find out. We'll have to get into that match. But before we do, we are going to be taking you into a few of the highlights of the Sparks match, and we'll see you on the other side. So stay tuned.